Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. So gonna keep this real short and simple for you guys. If you guys haven't seen the title of the video, I'm gonna be essentially showing you guys exactly how the most effective strategies that I've used personally for outreaching is, and I'll be showing you guys exactly what I've ranked them on a tier list, right? So without further ado, I'm gonna stop talking. Let's get straight into the video here. Okay, so we're in the tier list maker now. So essentially what we're gonna do is I'm not going to just be dragging and dropping everything, and this is going to be like a 2 to 3 minute video. If you guys are watching this video, it's probably going to be like an 8 to 10 minute video. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'll be drag and dropping every single method here. And mind you not, just to give you some clarity, I've literally done every single one of these methods in terms of like cold outreach. So I know what works, I know what doesn't work, and I know what works but kind of like slowly falls off as you go on, right? Or as you scale. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with cold emails. I'm gonna put this in C tier. The reason why I put this in C tier is because you have to look at this in a human to human, like year to year standpoint, right? We're in 2026 now. Not a lot of people are gonna look at their emails now, like, to be very honest. Like, I don't even really rarely check my emails anymore as I used to. But if your ICP and your audience is like the older generation, like, you know, if they're like in their mid 40s to mid 50s, then yes, they're gonna look at their emails a lot because that's just what they're used to, right? So you just have to look at it in a good standpoint. And plus, if you structure your emails perfectly, if you structure your emails with like content, give them as much clarity as possible, and it's something that's like eye-catching, then yes, it's gonna stand out, right? But if you don't know how to structure it, it's just gonna be a D tier straight up. But if you have experience with emails, it definitely is you know, something that you can get like 1 or 2 leads off a day from. But me personally, I haven't really seen the results. I've been studying how to send out cold emails and SMS campaigns, and I'll get to that in a second. But haven't really seen as much successes from that, other than like opposed to like all the other methods that I've been doing. Okay, so number 2 is, you guessed it, cold SMS campaigns. I'm gonna put this in B tier. The only reason why I put this in B tier is because now you have to look at this in another standpoint. A lot of people are going, they always have their phone on them, okay? Like younger, especially young people, and obviously the older generation, they're gonna always have their phone on them, right? Now, emails, yes, you can get notifications in, and you know, XYZ, sometimes it does go to spam, which is also the bad part, which is why I put this in C tier. But SMS campaigns, you know, it's kind of like slowly leaning towards A, but I just put this in B tier just because a lot of people don't really know how to structure their SMSs properly still. But a lot of people are gonna get their SMSs come in. Now, the only difference between this separating it from an A to a B is if you send an SMS with a blue image, you get more, I did a study on this, and I actually did some research. A blue message icon, which is like obviously an Apple, you know, if an iPhone messages another iPhone, it's gonna come up with like a blue message, right? You're gonna get a more higher retention rate. So you're gonna get more people to actually respond to you because they think it's an actual person. With a green message, obviously it's like an Android / like, you know, just another like just A2P number. So if you, and I'm not saying you have to manually just send out SMSs all the time, like from your actual personal number, but I'm just telling you guys, like, if you send out a blue message opposed to like a green message, you're always going to get a little bit more like of a higher chance for people to respond back, right? But SMS is honestly good. This is how I get a lot of my other clients to kind of book on with me. And this is how I essentially get a lot of leads coming in through as well. So SMS is B tier. I would put it at A tier, but just going to put this in B tier. Fiverr, I'm going to put this in B tier as well, just because this is just more so for like people who are just looking for work, right? People essentially post out jobs out in Fiverr for people to kind of like hire, right? And you can essentially just go in there, you know, send them a message saying like, hey, this is my experience, blah, blah, XYZ. And honestly, you just pretty much wait for them to hire you, right? And once they hire you, then you get paid like, you know, what they essentially told, you know, put that on the post, like saying like, look, if you do this for me, I'll pay you like $4.99 or something, like $499, $500, and stuff like that. So that's essentially how it goes. And then 4th is Upwork. This is also gonna be like B tier. It's essentially the same thing as Fiverr. Obviously, I personally, it honestly, it doesn't really make a big difference. Fiverr and Upwork are the same. If you want to just go into both of them, this is what I did when I first started off, actually. I got like 2 jobs from it, but I can definitely see the consistency. If you stay consistent, and if you essentially are just looking for jobs to kind of come in instead of you always chasing leads, Fiverr and Upwork are, you know, the best to go through. Now, client referrals is definitely S tier. Once you get a client, you always want to essentially ask them after you're done with their fulfillment. You want to mention like, look, are there any other person that you feel like can benefit from our services, that can benefit from us helping them out because we've helped you out, right? And not only do they have the trust, because nowadays in 2026, you have to realize trust is the biggest factor for a client to actually sign up, pay you money through the screen, and actually work with you. So you have to realize the reason why client referrals are S tier is because trust is at an ultimate high. Okay, so client referrals S tier. Now, this is where we kind of transition to like more organic content. I'm gonna start off with LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, I'm gonna put this in A tier just because if you're targeting more B2B, definitely LinkedIn is the way to go. So if I come back into my LinkedIn, if I go to Sales Navigator is a little expensive, but it's definitely worth it. It's about like 130 a month. But you can essentially come in here, you can come in the messages, you can message people, you can come in the leads, you can essentially type in like what type of like niche you want. So I'm gonna just type in chiropractor. And then you can come in here and essentially just put them like, you know, people, you can essentially filter out the leads, right? For example, who posted on LinkedIn, you know, what their current job title is. I'm gonna just put in like owner, boom, and stuff like that, right? So it's really, really flexible. So LinkedIn, I'm gonna put this in A tier. If you're really targeting B2B owners, that's the best place to go to. Organic content in terms of like LinkedIn, in terms of like Twitter posting, I'm gonna put this in C tier. Just because like not a lot of people are going to be on Twitter. Yes, it's a social media platform, okay? But not a lot of people are going to essentially be on that just because like not a lot of people really just look at Twitter nowadays, right? Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but to me, like just personally, Twitter never really worked for me. I'm still posting there organically, but I've never really seen anybody. I've literally never seen anybody just message me on there, and I've been doing this for about like a year now, okay, or almost a year. Substack articles. So, you know, essentially what this means is you're posting out articles like not weekly, but like, you know, it could be like, you know, one day, and then, you know, after that you could be like, you know, a day, you know, day by day or something like that, right? It's more organic as well, right? So you're posting articles, you're just kind of like telling people exactly like your case studies, just kind of like speaking out your mind of exactly what it is that you want to speak out and just putting that in like an article. I'm gonna put this in like D tier, just because like, look, at the end of the day, it's good. You know, you're essentially building your presence online. You're building your like social media presence as well, right? So people who like kind of click on your profiles, they can always click on your articles and read through your articles, and they're like, oh shoot, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. But in terms of like lead generation, it's not really the best. Obviously you can have a CTA where it's just like a call to action saying like learn more or like apply for my one-on-one consultation after they're done reading the article, like at the bottom. And I'll show you guys right now. So if I come into Substack, you can essentially see, if I come into my profile, you can essentially see that like this is my article profile, and if I click on like an article, all right, look, you know, I get it, you tried everything you can. You can just kind of go on there and like schedule one-on-one session right there. But at the end of the day, like I haven't really seen the results from it. And I just feel like it's just more good for like personal branding rather than like lead generation, right? Facebook groups. I'm gonna put this in A tier. I actually got my first client from a Facebook group. So what you can do here is you can essentially utilize Facebook groups, go into LinkedIn groups as well, Facebook groups as well, and just let people know, like just don't spam posts, but just like post every here and now, and people will essentially start engaging. Now, you want to make sure that with LinkedIn and Facebook, you have a following account. You don't want to just be a bot with like one follower. People are going to they're going to see through that. Okay, so for meta ads, I'm going to put this in S tier now. Now, the reason why I do put this in S tier is because you want to make sure that you always spend over $1,000 a month on meta ads. Now, it's okay if you don't have $1,000, you know, but you want to make sure that you spend over $1,000, okay, a month. Because if you're broke and you're spending money on meta ads, you're not really going to see the results. As much as you opposed to you spending $1,000 a month or over $1,000 a month, right? But it's okay if you spend, you know, some like at least like $30 or $25 a day is okay in that range when you're just starting off. But as you scale, definitely put in more money, that way you can get more results. But this is still a very effective way to get clients coming in without you always having to reach out to people, right? So, you know, people will just kind of like go through your ads, look at your, you know, thing, you'll get impressions, and then obviously you can, you know, have other strategies implemented to get more clients to your ads, right? So definitely S tier for sure. YouTube organic content. I'm going to put this in B tier just because it takes a lot of time, like a lot of time for people to essentially, look at your YouTube, get nurtured there, and then essentially, book on from a YouTube video, right? But it's a very effective way. If people like, I've seen that, like if people book on with you on YouTube, like straight from YouTube by being nurtured, you have like a 90% close rate on closing them, right? So YouTube organic content is the way to go, but the only reason why I put this in B tier is because it's going to take time. It's not going to be an automatic success. It's not like meta ads where you run it, when you like start running ads, it's, you'll get some results coming in. It's not like that. It's going to take time. And then the last one is cold calling. I'm going to put the cold calling at an A tier, okay? And you might be wondering, like, why an A tier? Like, I heard cold calling is like dead. No, cold calling is not dead. I've literally gotten a few of my first clients just by cold calling people. And the reason why people say it's dead is because they just don't want to do it. Like, out of everything here, cold calling is probably the hardest. You're essentially talking to people, you're cold calling them, you're disturbing their day. So not only are they mad, not only do they not know you, but like you don't even know if they're interested in your service, right? So it's just a guessing game. Long term, no, cold calling is not effective. This is a straight up F tier, long term. But if you're looking to get your first clients, this is definitely an A tier. If you're looking to get your first few clients, it's definitely an A tier, right? All you gotta do is just make sure that you have the confidence to just call, don't be scared, and you should be good to go. So that's essentially it for all the, outreach methods. My camera had died, so I'm pretty sorry about that, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any last questions, feel free to leave it down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.